Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFLTV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Well, we've had a lot of announcements recently, Gareth, which took up headlines within our sport. But since then, the headlines really have centred around Carl Froch, who came on TalkSport the other day. And ongoing war of words, really, with himself and Anthony Joshua. What have you made of it all?
Well, it's Froch on fighting. Froch has come back fighting, hasn't he? The guy that was going to fight. Who is he going to fight? Jake Paul? No, Carl's a very straight-talking analyst. He's brilliant on... Is it on Sky he's been on recently?
No, on his own channel, Froch on Fighting.
No. I know he's been on his own channel, but he also, works as an analyst on Fight Nights with Sky, doesn't he?
He's freelance, actually. He does Sky
and others.
Zone.
Yeah. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a brilliant analyst. I think he's very honest. I had the privilege of covering his career. He's a very straight-talking guy. We had a couple of ups and downs, but things with Carl, you talk it out, you shake hands, and he's a gentleman in that way,
Why? What happened with Carl?
What, me and Carl?
Yeah.
Oh, I attacked him one day when he attacked me. No, that was a joke. That one that Coogan filmed when we were talking to Eddie. I can't remember what Carl and I fell out over. It was something or other, but it was just, I think it was to do with an article, something I wrote, and I got cobra'd for some comment. I can't even remember what it is and what it was now. But I've always been a huge fan of Carl. And I went up to see him in Nottingham when he was retiring and did a lovely piece. Spent a lovely day with him in Gedling. Got some photos to Telegraph, did a lovely piece. Went to his favourite cafe, interviewed him there. He's a top guy. He's got very, very strong opinions. He's got opinions in the same way that he fought, which is, he'll take a clatter on the chin. He's always had an amazing chin. And he fought people. He was a warrior. So his perspective on a lot of things, Fury facing Ngannou, he has a fantastic point. I think we said on TalkSport that the WBC heavyweight champion should be obliged to keep defending against guys in the top 10 as mandatories. But he also said, if I was in the same position, I'd have taken the money as well. Which most fighters will tell you as well. So whatever criticism is going around at the moment, it is a little bit of a shark tank at the moment. It hasn't been a satisfactory heavyweight division for 7, 8, 9 months. We know that. But Carl's got some strong views. I mean, you're particularly thinking about the Joshua one, though, aren't you?
Yeah. So this stemmed. Well, I mean, Carl's been quite straightforward in his thinking about Anthony Joshua, over the last couple of years, but it's really picked up again. So Joshua, at the Dillian White press conference, gave some quotes. He said, Rob McCracken's a really good coach. The only thing I'll say, though, is look at Carl Froch's nose. I was getting hit way too much with clean shots. Obviously, Carl's responded since then. Your thoughts on Anthony's comments about Rob McCracken?
Well, first, Carl was born with that Norman nose, and it's beautifully straight now. And thank God my head kick sailed past his nose from a few inches away when we were messing around one day with Eddie and Coogan Cassius, your cohort, and may I say boss even, the leader of the pack of you at IFLTV. No, Carl had that nose to begin with, so he had a very unusual shaped nose, and I'll say it's beautifully straight now. He's a handsome man, is Carl. He's got better with age, like a fine wine, and his opinions are like that as well. They're legendary. He's now a Hall of Fame boxer, and I'm enjoying his outspokenness on his Fighting with Froch, Froch on Fighting podcast. The Anthony Joshua stuff. I think it was a little dig at Froch from Joshua but the assumption was, or the assumption was rather, that Joshua has said that earlier in his career he got hit too much, and that he wasn't taught enough defensive nous from Rob McCracken. But Anthony Joshua was a different fighter then. He was a wrecking ball. He was a wrecking machine for the first 17 fights. Look what happened with Jared Anderson the other day and Charles Martin. I know styles make fights, but Joshua in those days, when he won the IBF title, he was going out to let his hands go. And that's what he was doing against the likes of Charles Martin and others, Dillian White around that period, Povetkin even, Alexander Povetkin and others. It changed a little bit with Joseph Parker. Obviously, it changed after Ruiz. And I think what we see now with Joshua is he's been taught different things by Derek James. And I think tactically, they're looking at a big, straight ramrod jab against Dillian White, and he's going to work from behind that jab. And I think Derek James is teaching him more about those fundamentals. But I think, if I'm honest about it, I thought Rob McCracken was very, very good for Anthony Joshua all the way through the amateurs. We were around them a lot more in those days as well, up in Sheffield at EIS, all through the Olympics, when he won the gold. And it was plain to see that when they were together, it was a good marriage, frankly. Rob was totally dedicated to him. And, but that's Joshua's view now. He's emerged from it. He's also, and I quite like this about him, having a go at TalkSport, everyone's critical of him. Everyone's critical of everyone, to be honest. And these guys are at the pinnacle of their sport. And, as Froch says, I wouldn't say it in the same way as Froch, because Froch's a bit different. I'm not going to say grow a pair, Joshua. But I think it was good-natured in the way. Joshua's not a nasty person when he gives comments. There's no tone in those quotes when they're put out. And I think my recollections of sitting with Anthony Joshua at the Dillian White press conference when we had round tables, when we had time with him, was that he was very measured, and that all he was explaining most of the time was, I'm still in love with this, I still want to do it, I'm still a student of the game. And I don't think it was a kind of a nasty attack, if you like, on Rob McCracken. He was just questioning, I could have gone before because I could learn things from other people. He's had 3 losses and he's having to find reasons for it. And he's having to improve himself. So it's a fascinating situation. But Froch on fighting will continue. And, he will... I'm just looking forward to him running into Joshua and running into Fury, and because Carl knows his way around the sport and he's highly respected. So I think he adds something to the mix. He puts a bit of fire in the powder keg, doesn't he? Really?
Mm. Well, yeah. He's insistent that it's nothing to do with Rob McCracken. We know Carl and Rob go way back and are still friends and close with each other. But he's insistent that he's making these comments about Joshua that he learns from them and he actually wants him to succeed. And it's nothing to do actually with his relationship with Rob McCracken. Yeah,
and listen, I covered that era with Carl and Rob McCracken as well. And Carl from the amateurs had Rob in his corner. And it was a great partnership, a great combination. Rob McCracken is a great coach and he's a great father figure for boxers and he's a great headmaster and he's a very sane, very balanced, clear-thinking, very knowledgeable boxing man who's not after the limelight at all. In fact, it's hard to get strong opinions from Rob, and I really like that a bit about him. And he's always been consistent, always consistent in my view.
Do you think it's as simple as the fact that Joshua, in his own words, was getting hit with too many clean shots as to why he left Rob McCracken, or do you think there was something else, Gareth? Do you know?
No, it's because he got beaten by the tactics were wrong in the first Usyk fight. I think that was something we all explored at the time. he looked like he was trying to outbox Usyk in that first fight. Whether that was the game plan, I don't think it was. Sorry, I think it was the game plan. Whereas he should have tried to jump on Usyk in that first fight. Frankly, that's my view. But he was a more measured boxer in the second fight. He went after Usyk a little bit more, and it was an improved performance. But no, I think he left McCracken because he wasn't happy with that performance.
Okay, just
and actually, let me add to
this.
this. He was still with McCracken when he fought the rematch against Ruiz, didn't he?
In Saudi, yeah. So he was.
What did he do? What did he do? He boxed cleverly behind the jab all night.
Yeah.
Which is probably what he'll do against Dillian Whyte. It will ignite at some point. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I'm really looking forward to the Dillian Whyte fight. I think it's Joshua's fight to lose. He's kind of odds on, isn't he? And I hope he wins it, for his sake, because he's, but you can't write Dillian off either, because he's got a lot of hunger in him still.
Actually, just to carry on, I'm just seeing some more quotes regarding the situation from Carl Froch. So he said, my aesthetic features aside, I'm looking at this as a real dig at Rob McCracken. This is a guy who's a master of his craft. Yeah. I heard what he said about Rob McCracken, and Rob McCracken is a man that got AJ out of jail. I'm going to pause now because I'm not going to go into that. He got him out of jail, so do your research. I'm not going to elaborate on that. It's quite strong from Carl.
When you say got him out of jail, oh, what, you mean actually physically
literally out of jail?
Yeah, no, he's a great influence. He's a great influence on AJ, and as I say, I've said all the things about him. A great mentor, great father figure, and he was nothing but good news for Anthony Joshua all the way till Joshua. Listen, he needed a change. I get that. He needed a change, and he wanted an American trainer, and now he's on his second American trainer, and that's absolutely fine.
Okay, just quickly to round off another news, got the announcement for Manchester Arena. We're back there September 2nd for Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. 2 live on Sky Sports box office. If Eubank Jr. loses this, Gareth, is he done?
I think he's said as much himself. Maybe there's a Conor Benn fight when and if Conor Benn comes back. I see he's out of the WBC rankings now, which he was in, but according to reports today, I think on Sky, John Dennon reporting with Sky, I think that Mauricio Sulaiman, rather than his father, his late father, Mauricio Sulaiman, the president of the WBC, has said that Ben's been inactive for 15 months, so he's dropped out of the rankings. Obviously, that relates to way back beyond October the 8th last year. So, was it October the 8th or October the 1st? If it fails me this morning, but it was then anyway. But there's nothing sinister in it. We still await the outcome. We hear it's imminent. We've heard for a week it's imminent, and people were wondering whether Eubank Jr. was withdrawing from that fight with Liam Smith because there was that Conor Benn fight in the offing. I think it could still happen. It will depend on how Eubank performs in this fight. If it's a razor-tight 12 points decision for Smith, then maybe they'll do, or for Eubank, maybe these two will do a trilogy. I don't know. But I see Eubank needing to make big adjustments, keep his hands up, throw more punches, be more balanced in the fight, because Liam Smith's going to stalk him again. It was still a peculiar finish in that fourth round. To see Eubank crumpling like clothes into a suitcase, literally, we'd never seen him like that in that state before. Props and credit to Liam Smith for enabling himself to do that. And I think Eubank always talks a good game. Psychologically, always talks a good game. But it's going to be a really good fight. It's a really, really big jeopardy fight for Eubank now. And if he wins it, we almost certainly get the Benn fight next. But if he wins it, we might also get a trilogy if it's a great fight.
Okay, Gareth, thank you very much for your time. And as always, we'll speak soon.
My pleasure.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.